Introducing your next Governor John Dutton and U.S. Senator Linnell.
The end of Yellowstone should have been explosive. The blood-soaked loyalty, land wars, family betrayals deserved a finale that burned like Montana wildfire. It sputtered out, an hour and a half of half-hearted goodbyes, climactic resolutions, in a slow, meandering pace that felt like the show itself had grown tired. Well, this is Taylor Sheridan's failure. I've exposed it in this video. Watch till the end. The Yellowstone series has been building towards so many pivotal moments. Read secrets, conflicts over the future of the Dutton family, their iconic Yellowstone ranch. A satisfying resolution? The final episodes were more of a drawn-out meh than a thrilling conclusion. In case anyone was wondering, there's still a pit full of bodies somewhere in Wyoming, the Dutton family's long-standing crime stash. Did anyone even care to revisit that? Not really. Instead, much of the final season was spent retelling the death of John Dutton, the patriarch, over and over, like a sad refrain that never really hits the right note. Then, there's the ongoing family drama, Beth, Kayce, and Jamie squabbling over the future of the ranch. Throughout the series, Yellowstone masterfully explored the unresolvable tension between family loyalty, modernity, and tradition. But when it came time to address these deep themes in the finale, Sheridan chose to pull back entirely, focusing on anything but meaningful conflict. We were left wondering, what about the big unresolved issues? The family, the ranch, the country's inevitable march toward progress. There could have been a striking exploration of these American dilemmas, but instead, we were fed an empty spectacle where characters argued over trivial things, and the ranch's fate was wrapped up in a tidy bow. As for Yellowstone's grand finale, Sheridan seemed to reject all traditional expectations. Instead of delivering an explosive ending full of heart-pounding drama or emotional payoff, Sheridan took a different route, one that showed just how little he cared for the central themes he'd set up. What did we get in the end? Well, let's break it down. 1. Make Sheridan's character, Travis, look cool. In an obvious attempt to glorify his own character, Sheridan made sure Travis, the cool cowboy played by himself, got the spotlight in the episode's opening. He regales the other characters with stories of past cowboy exploits. Crew nods along, completely in awe of how tough and heroic Travis is. But here's the thing, Travis's storyline is wrapped up right there. After a few heroic tales and a quick offer of a job to the quirky ranch hand Teeter, there's no reason for him to even appear again. Sheridan gets to look cool, while everyone else marvels at his cowboy swagger. 2. Eliminate any drama over the fate of the ranch. For all the buildup around the ranch's future, there would be at least some kind of intense decision-making, something that would carry weight for the characters and the audience. Kayce and Beth casually announced that the Duttons will sell the ranch to the Broken Rock Reservation for a low price, stepping inheritance taxes in a way that solves all the major problems. Everyone's fine with it. The ranch that John Dutton worked tirelessly to protect sold without a second thought. Beth, who made a vow to her father never to sell the land, doesn't even bat an eye. There's no emotional tension here, no dramatic fallout. Even Jamie, who wants to transform the land into an airport and luxury resorts, is dispatched with ease. Drama? Not a chance. 3. Let Rip figure out how to dig a grave. Of course, when a beloved character dies, the family must bury them. But why make this emotional moment poignant when you can turn it into a drawn-out, tedious task? Enter Rip, who is suddenly tasked with digging John Dutton's grave. He looks to his fellow cowboys, giving them orders to get to work with a shovel, and that's it. No deeper meaning or reflection on loss. Just men digging dirt for a few minutes. 4. Drag out the funeral sequence for no reason. Sheridan really committed to wasting time in this finale. How do you kill off time when you have no substantial plot to offer? You stretch out a funeral ceremony with no cuts, no pacing, and no real purpose. We endure every moment of the service, the soft strains of Ashokan farewell echoing through the air, one rose after another being placed on the casket. And while all this is happening, Beth whispers to her deceased father, promising to take care of things, and then contradicts herself by vowing to get vengeance for him. There's no emotional depth to any of this, just a drawn-out sequence to pass the time. It's almost painful to watch, especially when Rip interrupts a preacher's attempt at offering a prayer. 5. Rip tries to fill in the grave. As the casket slowly sinks into the earth, Rip stares at the grave with the kind of confusion you might expect if you'd never seen a burial before. How does this work? He asks, as though this were his first rodeo. The preacher, in a rare moment of usefulness, explains the casket lowering mechanism. Rip, ever the efficient cowboy, fiddles with the ropes, stands for an uncomfortable 56 seconds, and then picks up a shovel to cover the casket. Exciting exciting stuff, right? This could have been a reflective moment, but instead, it's just another scene of filler. 6. Let's cook meat with Gator. After all the drama, or lack thereof, the episode winds down with a meal prepared by Gator, the chef who somehow makes the post-funeral meal seem more important than it really is. "What are you making?" asks Senator Perry, trying to muster some interest. "Ribeyes," Gator answers casually, adding some beans, sourdough biscuits, and blueberry cobbler into the mix. It's a feast, sure, but it feels more like a metaphor for how this finale served up some empty calories to an audience that deserved so much more. 7. Beth's revenge. Quick, clean, and convenient. For years, Beth and Jamie have circled each other like wolves, locked in a battle neither could fully win. But with John gone, Beth finally had her moment to strike. A grand scheme, a twisted, calculated act of revenge that showcased her brilliance and brutality. Not this time. Instead, she simply drove straight to Jamie's house, walked in, and stabbed him in the heart. That's it. No mind games, no struggle, no tension. One quick stab, and the battle was over. And what about the aftermath? Did the show explore the consequences of murdering Montana's attorney general in cold blood? Did anyone question Jamie's sudden disappearance? Of course not. Rip did what Rip does. Hauled the body to the family's favorite dumping ground, torched Jamie's car, and called it a day. A newscaster casually mentioned that Jamie had vanished, but nobody seemed particularly bothered. The show had spent seasons building Jamie up as a tragic, conflicted figure, and in the end, he was disposed of with all the care of a ranch hand tossing out a broken saddle. 8. Kayce's spiritual send-off, or something like that. Kayce Dutton had spent much of Yellowstone at a crossroads, torn between family duty, personal ambition, and his connection to the Broken Rock Reservation. So how did the show honor that deep internal struggle? By having him dramatically throw away his badge, only for a wolf to show up and bury it. Yes, really. A reservation elder then appeared to confirm that the wolf was a ghost wolf. That's the whole scene. Was this meant to be poetic? Symbolic? A final acknowledgement of Kayce's ties to his indigenous heritage? Hard to say, but the show didn't stick around to unpack it. The wolf buried the badge, Kayce looked on in brooding silence, and the scene cut away. Another storyline given the shortest possible send-off. 9. One more chance to make Travis look cool. Just when you thought the finale might be winding down, Yellowstone made sure to circle back to Travis, Sheridan's self-insert cowboy extraordinaire. Now, back at his Texas ranch, Travis was in full control, barking at Jimmy, flexing his riding skills, and offering Teeter her new job. Every time he spoke, his audience reacted with amused admiration, as if they had no choice but to bask in the glow of his cowboy wisdom. He made a horse turn in circles. People nodded in approval. The scene didn't contribute to the story in any way, but by now, that wasn't exactly surprising. 10. A quick goodbye to the ranch hands. Cash in hand, no questions asked. For years, the Dutton ranch hands had been loyal to a fault, some even taking the ultimate oath, being literally branded, to prove their devotion. So how did the show handle their send-off? John Dutton might have been buried, but these cowboys got something just as sacred. Severance pay, a wad of cash, a handshake, and off they went. Did any of them question their lifelong devotion to a family that discarded them without a second thought? Did they worry about the giant Y scarred into their flesh? Did they consider spilling the truth about the ranch's countless buried secrets? Not a chance. No second thoughts, no loose ends, just a quiet exit. 11. A final scene that contradicts the whole point. After all that talk about how no man can truly own the land, the finale closed with Beth and Kayce happily settling onto their own ranches. They weren't suffering, they weren't sacrificing, they owned their land, and they were doing just fine. Beth found a bar. Rip agreed to go with her, and at that moment, every viewer watching this finale likely thought the same thing. Maybe I should go to a bar too. And that was it. The end of Yellowstone. A show that began with power struggles, blood feuds, and high-stakes battles for land, ended with a few rushed resolutions, a missing attorney general, and a single cow. In the end, Yellowstone's finale was a masterclass in missed opportunities. Rather than addressing its central themes or providing any kind of meaningful resolution, Sheridan chose to drag us through a series of dull, pointless moments. The result? A finale that barely registers, a sad whimper of a series that once roared.